Hello all, my name is Jennifer Moore. On behalf of the Northeast Lauderdale High School Black History Committee, I want to welcome you to our 2021-2022 virtual Black History program. This year our theme is Never Be Limited by Other People's Limited Imaginations. This theme is based on a quote by Dr. Mae Jemison. Dr. Jemison is the first African American female astronaut. We hope you enjoy our program.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Mae Jemison once said, never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. She represents all things present, positive, and phenomenal. In fact, her accomplishments are literally out of this world. Let me show you what I mean.
Throughout Mae Jemison's life, excelling in one area has never been enough. Sure, we know her as the first African-American woman in space, but there's so much more that makes Jemison extraordinary. Mae grew up in Chicago, where like most kids, she dreamed of being a fashion designer, archaeologist, or astronaut. She decided at an early age she would go to space. Astronauts back then were exclusively white and male, but those aboard the USS Enterprise on Star Trek were different, particularly Lieutenant Uhura, and that allowed young May to see someone that looked like her in space. Even as a kid, she was extraordinary. She graduated high school at 16 and went to Stanford. She double majored in chemical engineering and African and Afro-American studies. During her junior year, she had to decide if she should be a doctor or a professional dancer, which were both legitimate options for her. She chose medical school and even worked in a Cambodian refugee camp in Thailand. And she didn't just become a doctor. In 1983, she became the Area Peace Corps Medical Officer for Sierra Leone and Liberia in West Africa. She managed all the healthcare for the Peace Corps, wrote manuals for self-care, researched rabies with the CDC, and was in charge of medical care for the US Embassy. And she was 27. After 2 years there, she returned to America and began working as a general practitioner in Los Angeles and took graduate-level engineering classes at the same time. And even then, she was still like, I could do more. So she applied to become an astronaut in 1985 and wasn't deterred when the Challenger exploded the next year. She reapplied and was selected out of 2,000 applicants to train to be an astronaut.
And liftoff of Space Shuttle Endeavour.
September 12, 1992, Jemison made history when she took off aboard the Endeavour for 8 days in space. As a science mission specialist, her job was to conduct experiments on the crew on motion sickness and bone cells. After her big dream was realized, Jemison decided to take it easy. As an environmental studies professor at Dartmouth College, starting an educational nonprofit, a science camp, and serving as principal for 100 Year Starship, an initiative working to travel beyond our solar system in the next 100 years. Oh, and in 1993, she guest starred on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jemison has gone back and forth on this whole role model thing. She didn't really want to be the poster child for black female astronauts, but she did want young girls, and the old white men that would hire them someday, to see that your race or gender doesn't limit you.
Although this year's speaker is not Dr. Mae Jemison, this year's speaker is yet another example of being positive, present, and phenomenal. This year's speaker is Mrs. Sandra Cross. She is the first black nurse practitioner in Meridian. From 1993 to 1997, she practiced as a nurse practitioner at Greater Meridian Health Clinic. Mrs. Cross is also the first black registered nurse practitioner to teach in the practical nursing program at Meridian Community College. Mrs. Cross still resides in Meridian today. She's a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She is going to tell you in her own words how she refused to be limited by other people's limited imagination. Thank you, Mrs. Cross.
I want to say hello to everybody, and it is a privilege to be here to celebrate Black History Month with you all. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Moore for inviting me. And there is so much that we are here to be thankful for and to be proud of. When we celebrate Black History Month, and although we celebrate it all year round, but we just kind of condense it in 1 month in February, we have so much to learn. We have so much to remember. And it's not only history, we are living history right now as we speak. So in celebrating Black History Month, the theme, never be limited by other people's limited imagination. Let me say that again. Never be limited by other people's limited imagination. Dr. Mae Jemison, astronaut. And may I add, African American astronaut. That makes me so proud. There is so much history to celebrate and to be proud of. As children, we have a great imagination, and we have lots of things that we want to accomplish. And our ideas come at us so fast until by the time we decide this week that we want to do something else, our imagination takes us to something else. And that's a great thing. Learn something every day. And things that you learn today may differ from tomorrow. But just keep your dreams. Our dreams and imaginations give us a sense of purpose. It gives us a sense of purpose, and it gives us a chance to look forward into things that we haven't seen yet. And that's where your imagination can come. It lets us see what's to come, and it helps us to look at a brighter future for ourselves and our families. At this point in your life, just imagine where you are now. Some of you know exactly what you want to do, and others have no idea what you want to do. And that's okay, because you'll have time. High school to me was the best years of my life. You meet your friends, but then you're going to graduate, and then you're going to leave your friends behind. And that's going to be a milestone. That should be a goal, graduating high school. So think about that. Graduate from high school first. And remember, when you graduate, your parents are going to look at you. They're probably looking at you right now. And the question that they're going to have is, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to college, or are you going to get a job? Now, those were two choices that they gave you. Go to work or go to school. They didn't give you a choice of staying home and not doing anything. Your parents love you, but they don't want to take care of you for the rest of your life. So that is going to be depending upon you. But keep in mind your goals, your imaginations, your dreams, what you want to do. And keep in mind also that even though you don't know right now, it will occur to you something that you want to do. Because, you know, everybody have a talent. And you just have to find out what that talent is. Everyone has something that they can do better than anybody. You have something that you like to do. What you need to do is to concentrate on what you want to do and improve on that. Think about it. You may want to be a teacher. And before you graduate, you may want to be a nurse. You know, it is up to you to decide, but only you have the power to do that. Your parents can't make the decision for you. And as I was teaching, I have taught nursing in the nursing program. And I could tell the students that were there because they wanted to be there, and the students that was there because their parents made them go into nursing. And if you don't want it, you will not be successful. So think about things that you want to do. I'd like to encourage each one of you to pursue your dreams. Pursue your dreams and your talents, but you have to work hard. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. Take it from me, nothing is easy. But if you want it hard enough and bad enough, you can do it. You can do it. Do not be limited by anyone, and don't let anyone tell you that you cannot do something. Some students want to become a nurse, and someone may say, well, I don't know, I don't think you're smart enough to be a nurse. And you say to yourself, now wait a minute, they're telling me what I can and cannot do. What you need to do is to take that negative and turn it into a positive and say, oh, I can do it. I can do whatever I want to do. You have that power. You have that drive. You have that dream. Every one of you can do whatever you like to do, but you got to believe in yourself. Only you can believe in you. It's fantastic to have a good support system. I had a very good support system to help you with your dreams and to help you with your imaginations, because history is being made right now as you sit in your classroom. Every day, you need to learn something. If a day go by and you haven't learned something, then you've wasted your time. So make your time purposeful. Make it purposeful. Make it work for you. That can be achieved in a short term or long term. What you need to do, and what I advise you to do, is to think about this. Don't let everything come in at one time. Take it an hour at a time, a day at a time, a week at a time. Make yourself short goals. Short goals and then long-term goals. Short goals are those things that you can accomplish in a couple of hours, a day, maybe a week, or several weeks, sometimes up to a month. But as you do that, mark that off of your list as goals. Long-term goals are those things that's going to happen at the end. When I graduated high school, I wanted to be a teacher. I had my mindset on being a teacher. That was what I wanted to do. I went 2 years at Meridian Community College, and I graduated. And my mind changed. You know, my heart was on being a teacher, but my mind changed, and I wanted to become a nurse because I thought that, you know, a nurse can help people. And I thought teaching can also help people, but I think I want to be a nurse. So what I did is I re-enrolled back into Meridian Community College in the RN program, the Associate Degree Nursing program. Was it easy? No, it was not easy. It was very hard. For one thing, my parents was not rich. I had to work and pay my own way. And I didn't mind doing that because that's what I wanted to do. In fact, I wanted to finish so that I could help my mother because at home with my younger siblings. So I finished and went through my RN program, and I started to work. It was very hard back in that day and that time. I graduated in 1970 from high school, 1974 from nursing school, and I went in a predominantly white program and started nursing. But I had some challenges. But the way you overcome challenges is that you be the best nurse, the best teacher, the best whatever you can be. And you concentrate on what you want to be and what's important to you. I had a fantastic support system. And to get through anything, you need a support system. My family, my husband, and later on, when I was getting my nurse practitioner degree, my family and my children. What I did was I took small goals. I took several goals to get to the point to where I wanted to be. I went through nursing first with an AA degree, went to work, and I learned all that I could learn. I went back several years later and got my bachelor's degree. And I learned and I worked, and every day I brought in something new for me to learn so that I could be a better person, so that I can be a better person, a better nurse to help my patients. Then I said, you know, I think I want to do something else. I went back to school and got my master's in nursing degree and my nurse practitioner degree. That took some time. Was it easy? No. There's a lot of obstacles out there that are going to deter you from getting to where you want to be. But you can do it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe you can do this. You've got to set goals. At the end, and I want to say this took several years for me to get to where I wanted to be. I wanted to go into a field of being a nurse practitioner. In fact, the first nurse practitioner to practice in Meridian. But in order to do that, you have to learn both medical and teaching, because nurses, whether you know it or not, are teachers. I was the first Black instructor to teach in the licensed practical nursing program at Meridian Community College. And then from there, I started teaching in the registered nursing program. I started also practicing as a nurse practitioner here in Meridian. At first, when I started, nobody knew what nurse practitioners did. But when you graduate, they give you a booklet, a pamphlet about what you can and cannot do. And what I had to do was to educate the people around me as to what I could do. That helped me, and it also helped them. You can be whatever you want to be. Don't let anybody limit you. Don't let anybody talk negative to you. Change that positive into a negative and do what you want to do. You can accomplish it. Black History Month allows us to do three things. Number one, to reflect on the many contributions made by African Americans or Black Americans or Black people all over the world, because we are very smart. If you give people a chance, anybody a chance to show what they can do, they will be successful. So it gives us a chance to reflect back on the many contributions that have been made in the past. Also, it helps us to realize the contributions that are occurring right now. Our Vice President of the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris, has made history, and she's not the only one. I want you to look around and find out about all the Black history that's occurring right now. And number three, it makes us embrace the future. It makes us look positively at the future. And you can. Do you know that you are setting up your future now as you make it through life? Just think about where you are. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has something that they want to do. These are some Black history notes that I'd like to bring out. Did you know that Dr. Shirley Jackson, a theoretical physicist, invented the touch-tone telephone? African American. Marie and Albert Britton Brown invented the home security system. I love my home security system. It keeps me safe. In 1966, Mark Dean invented the computer processor chip, the computers that we use right now. Mary Mahoney, in 1844, was the first African American nurse. That I learned on my first day of nursing. Frederick Jones, in 1949, invented the air conditioning unit. In the summertime, can you live without your air conditioner? I can't. G.T. Sampson, in 1862, invented the clothes dryer. Before that, you were putting your clothes out on the line to dry out. Lewis Latimer invented the electric lamp bulb that goes into every light that we have right now. Garrett Morgan invented the gas mask. Robert Fleming invented the guitar in 1886. George Washington Carver. Now, George Washington Carver invented so much, from peanuts, peanut butter, peanut oil, and lots of more. When I think about and look back over history, I get excited because we've made so much history, and there's so much history being made now and in the future. There's so many things that have not been invented, and just think maybe you can be the one that invents something or some of these things that we will be using in the future. I have a quote for you. It's not where you come from, but where you're going. It's not where you come from, it's where you're going. My mother had 11 children, and she worked hard, her and my dad. And I'm so proud of what they have put in us. They put a good work ethic. that nobody gives you anything. You have to work for what you get. And when I work for what I got, you better believe I'm going to take care of it. You can do this. Believe in yourself. Malcolm X stated, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. You're preparing right now. You can make a difference, but you've got to believe that you can make a difference. Things are not going to be easy. They're going to be hard, but it will, in the end, be worth it. I have a poem, and then I'll finish up with this poem. It is by a black poet, Walter D. Winkle. If you think you're beaten, then you are. If you think you dare not, then you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, then you better believe that almost a fact that you won't be successful. If you think you lose, then you've lost. For out of the work we find that is successful begins with the will to do. It's all right in the state of mind. Everything we do is a state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, then you are. You have to think high to rise high. You've got to be sure of yourself and believe in yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life is a battle. Life battles don't always go to the stronger or the fastest man. But sooner or later, the man who runs a consistent race and think he can do it will win. I'd like to thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank Ms. Jennifer Moore for giving me this opportunity to be with you all today. It's been a pleasure. Learn something every day in Black History Month and have a great life.
Now we add a little something to it, just to encourage you. We're going to take you to church later. Let's go!
We'll keep marching, fighting till the victory is won.
To all my brothers out there.
Hold your head up, brothers, till the victory is won.
To all my sisters in the struggle.
Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won.
Till that day.
Till that day comes.
Hey!
Let us march on
To victory.